It's holy matrimony, love wrapped in grace, honesty the cornerstone, openness embrace, transparency the power to make it through, Christ in the center, making all things new. Welcome to the base camp.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Marriage Base Camp podcast. I'm Shelly and here with Robert. And before we get started, we would love for you to consider supporting us with a monthly gift. You can find more information on the show notes about that.
Yeah, today we have a treat for you guys. We have two special guests on today, Aubrey and Logan Powers. And I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. But we've known Aubrey and Logan for a few years now. We have some mutual friends. We're also friends with your parents. So
Yep.
Shout out Joe and Christy. You guys have been to a few marriage conferences that we've led, and you guys always ask really good questions when you're there. And so we thought it'd be great to have you guys on the podcast to just talk about marriage and marriages and your marriage and our marriage and all those things. And so to start, introduce yourselves.
Sure. Well, my name's Aubrey,
I'm Logan.
and we're married. No, I'm just kidding.
That's it.
That's the end of it.
I am a mental health therapist.
And I'm a work from home dad and freelance graphic designer.
There you go. We have one daughter. Her name's Tilly.
Yep.
Matilda, but we call her Tilly.
Nice.
How old is she now?
She turns 3 in June.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
3.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That was always
She's a 3-nager.
Yeah,
That's what I
she
call
is.
her.
a 3-nager.
Or
Never heard that.
or a Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
3s were always hard for us.
Yeah, it wasn't the terrible twos. It was the terrible threes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
be interesting.
Now, Aubrey, you have some podcast experience. Is that correct?
I do. Yep. I started a podcast like a year ago called Probably Bad Advice, and by 2 licensed therapists.
Which, by the way,
It's awesome.
that is a
Thank
clutch
you.
name. That's a great name.
It really
Thanks.
is.
And
We
what
like
do what
it.
do you guys normally talk about?
Oh, all sorts of things. I mean, we started out kind of just talking about like therapy things, just giving resources to people. We're also 2 moms who are working moms, so we talk a lot about being a mom, share some of our own personal stories. We've had our husbands on the podcast to talk about hot takes. Those are always the
Nice.
most popular
I
ones.
did listen to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a
That's
few
awesome.
back from the beginning where they talk about conspiracy theories and just random
Wow.
Yeah.
things. It's great.
Craziness.
It's so fun having them
great.
on there sometimes. And yeah, sometimes we interview other random people, and
Yeah.
we don't really have a main. We're always talking about marriage. No, it's
You're all over the place.
we're all over the place,
Yeah.
but it works for us.
Yeah, my guess is because you probably deal with all sorts of things. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Did she leave anything out? Anything special about you guys or
Nope.
interesting?
I'm just surprised she lets me and Travis jump on it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty hairy sometimes.
That's awesome.
Now, just for context for this episode, tell us how long you guys have been married.
6 years.
6 years.
Yep.
We have been married for almost 29.
Mm.
May will be 29 years.
Awesome.
So just so everybody kind of knows, that's the demographic here.
We are old.
No, I didn't say it. You said it. So here's the first question we want to know. How has that first season of marriage been for you guys? That first 6 years?
Yeah. We were just talking about this, and I was like, I think I would break it into 2 seasons, just because the first 3 years we didn't have a kid, and then the next 3 we have.
Yep.
That's for sure. I'd say the
Pre-Matilda,
Yeah.
post-Matilda.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I think the first half of that was challenging in that, like, just learning our personalities together and navigating, like, external family things. So, like,
Yeah.
my family's very involved and very close. And I'd say your family is, I mean, obviously they love each other, but they're more,
Individualistic.
yeah, maybe that's the right word.
Yeah.
You know, more of the, I don't know passive is the right word, but like, I don't want to overstep.
Yeah.
You do your own thing, where my family is like, oh no, we're all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely comfortable overstepping.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We didn't grow up having family time per se a whole lot, you know,
Mhm.
but yours definitely did.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
So,
Yeah.
are you saying that the first 3 years were
That was kind of challenging.
easier or
No,
harder?
I think it was harder
Okay.
Oh yeah.
than it is now.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm talking a lot, but so cut me off whenever. But
I
like,
agree.
before we even got married, the topic of holidays was always the most challenging. I think Logan said once, we almost didn't get married because we couldn't
Yeah.
figure out what we were going to do and those kinds of things. And then I think too, just I'm very close to my dad and a lot like my dad. And some of like when we got engaged, there's some rough things with me and my dad when we got engaged that kind of added to the struggle of those things.
Yeah. We also pretty early on started off marriage as co-workers in ministry too.
Okay.
So that was like another layer.
What are you guys
of-
doing?
Sure.
I did youth ministry at the church.
I did communications and their graphics and that type of stuff. So,
Gotcha.
and I volunteered with youth. So
Yeah, you did.
Aubrey was kind of my boss in a weird way. It was like a volunteer level.
Yeah.
It was really interesting dynamics.
Yeah.
Is that where you guys met and sort of
Kind of.
kindled that?
Yeah. I mean, basically, there was a girl that I mentored in high school who invited me to a game night at a local coffee shop. And I went and met Logan there. And I guess from that moment, he was like, wow, she's really cute. I'm going to marry her someday. And I was like, okay. Went 6 months without
Yep.
talking.
That's awesome.
Then January 1st, he was like, you want to go get coffee? And I was like, yeah, sure. Thinking it was just, we're two ministry people. And a
Nope.
friend who introduced us was like, no, that's a date. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Awesome. Well, what is something that you've discovered about marriage that no one warned you about?
We were talking about that. I
Yeah.
don't remember. You.
I think what I said was the outside stuff and how much that can impact your marriage. So we were talking about how, like, when you're dating, people just tell you about the dynamics between you and the other person, but you don't really ever talk about the external, like your parents dying or whatever, like your siblings getting in trouble or family holidays, things like that you have to process with this other person. I think that for us has been really difficult
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Especially over the last year, for sure. I think for me, it was probably the conversation about like physical intimacy after having a kid, so postpartum, but then also throwing on top like the traumatic birth that we had and navigating all of that. I'm like, I wish somebody would have, at least told me a little bit. My parents were very open about talking
didn't
about
get-
sex. They were very open, but not about that one, I guess. We never got on that topic.
Yeah.
So,
You didn't get the manual?
no.
Yeah.
There's one of those out there.
I guess. I've never seen it.
I never got it.
Yeah. Oh, man. So we've got some questions that hopefully will not only highlight some of our generational differences and pressures, but also maybe spark some great discussion. So first one, when you look at couples your age, somewhere around where you guys are, what are they struggling with that previous generations, I'll go ahead and throw us in there, maybe have not faced, or at least haven't faced in the same way?
Okay, how old are you guys? So just for context.
I turned 30 this year.
Okay.
And I turned 31.
Okay.
Good. It's about 20 years difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right off the get, technology,
Yeah.
social
phones and
media.
stuff.
I think that's one of the biggest differences is it's just at your fingertips. Like, and that wasn't, you had, I don't know if I'm putting you in a category, but did you have landlines when you were kids?
Yes.
Okay.
We didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's hilarious.
We
It
had
was
these,
connected to a wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. The most radical thing we had was a pager.
Yes, we did have a pager.
And Shelly and I had a pager when I went off to college.
Yeah.
And so she would text me. We had like a code system and number code system. Each number meant something
Yeah.
else. And not all of them, quite frankly, were God honoring. I'll be truthful with you.
That's awesome.
But she, we would just, it was just kind of our way of communicating.
We had pagers to communicate.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Cutting edge.
Very.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
So
Yeah.
I think we're going to get into that a little bit more. I know when we grew up, when we were young and married, people worked really hard to present that they had the perfect marriage. That was sort of like that's what you do.
Yeah.
You present that. Do you think younger couples today feel that same pressure to present that their relationship as being all together and great? Is that the same?
I think it depends, like, at least from my counseling brain, like if I work with faith-based clients versus secular ones, I think it can be very different. I think when you add God to the picture, like I think that some of that foundation is still present. I think with the maybe more secular, more worldly couples, I think there's just a lot of this like, oh, well, I could leave marriage whenever I want to kind of a thing. Like it's not, it doesn't hold the same weight,
Interesting.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's an opportunity for people to embrace their perceived reality as their truth. So like if their kids, they want to raise their kids cussing, that's okay because you can manufacture that into your truth and your worldview, and that's okay. Like I think people today have the opportunity to make everything okay. Everything's unmissable. And you can you can twist it to you're always right. There's always a talking head online telling you why you're right and why how you're raising your kid is perfectly okay. I think that's a real dangerous game, though.
Yeah.
So it's like taking that idea of creating this picture perfect family, and it's now more like, well, what's perfect for me doesn't have to be perfect for you because it's perfect for me and it works for me, and I don't care what you think because
that's
it
what
works
I'm
for
getting
me.
at. Yep.
So they're not so much chasing these societal norms; they're just making up new norms for themselves.
Yeah.
I'd say so, which I think is, and to some degree, is chasing society, because I know one of the questions later is about like modern therapy and stuff like that. But it's like just this idea of, well, it's about me, and if I don't feel fulfilled, then I can just leave.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, we talked about this, but I'm really interested. How do you think the social media dating apps, just the constant digital communication shapes relationships? Like the whole dating app, that's a whole, I don't know if.
Yeah.
That's new.
That's very
I
new.
don't want to say it's new, but
It's newer.
Yeah.
there were no dating apps when we.
Well, and we've come across some couples who use dating apps and they're married.
Oh, sure.
But it's almost like a.
It's very interesting
Shame thing.
because it's almost a generational thing. Because if we talk to, I would say anybody under 30, we're like, how'd you meet? Oh, on such, such and such.
Yeah.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Not a big deal at all. Anybody like over, 30 in their 40s, especially 50s, they're like, oh, what happened was we met on this dating app. And it's almost like they're ashamed.
It's very much shame.
It's so
It's
interesting.
so crazy to me. But how does he, like communication wise, is social media affecting relationships, do you think? Or
I think it does. I think it gives you the opportunity to avoid your spouse or your partner or whatever if things are going bad. But I also think it opens the door for people to think divorce or other options are an easy step, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think of like the algorithm, like our phones are always listening to us, whether we like it or not, and sometimes it just is so weird. You're thinking about vacuums and ads for vacuums show up, but it's the same
It's
with
crazy.
like, if I'm mad at Logan or something, like, I'll get on social media because I'm an avoidant attachment person, right? Like I'm avoiding this conflict, and I get on there and I see this video about someone avoiding conflict, and they tell me exactly what I want to hear. And then I sit and I stew in my mess even more, So
and then
I
that's
mean,
all you see for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
yeah, it continues to fill into that like selfish aspect of things, And I think like we were talking earlier, like social media and those kinds of things can just open up for a whole bunch of bad, I can't tell you how many times there have been like a thing where it's like, Logan's like, I am so careful about what I look at on social media, but sometimes like pornography will just show up, and he's like, I don't know how that's there.
Yeah.
I'll go in and he'll, reset it so it goes away, and then it's like, it's still there. He's like, I don't understand,
Yeah.
It's like, it's just,
Because you're a
It's
guy,
inevitable.
and they know.
I downloaded what's the TikTok? I downloaded TikTok a while back because kids were all like sending me videos. I'm like, I can't watch it.
yeah.
Like literally just because it knew somehow that I was a middle-aged man, the things it was showing me. I'd be like, Shelly, like, do you see this
Yeah.
stuff?
No,
She's like,
I
no,
don't.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
So I lasted like 6 hours on TikTok. And I was like, okay, I can't do this. This is not good for me.
Yeah, it was crazy. I did have TikTok for a little bit too. And it was like, how do you not? Like, I don't know, there's the algorithm thing. Like you can go into TikTok and like say no, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But
You can say not interested,
But
but it still comes back,
right.
which some of that is based on like the friends you follow and what videos they like. So if you have someone you're following that
That's
looks
crazy.
at all of that stuff,
Yeah.
it will show up more, which is really weird.
So you know what your friends are watching.
You
Yeah,
can
it's-
actually on
almost.
Instagram you can actually see like it'll pop up. But like there was once a video that was probably really inappropriate. My brother liked it, and I was like, oh, my brother liked that. I should probably send that to him. Be like, what are you watching, bro?
That's amazing.
Get off the internet.
I see.
Sorry, Lewis.
Yeah.
But
Oh, jeez.
You're in
Instagram
trouble.
back in the day used to show you every single post that people liked. I remember one time a guy I knew was liking really just blatantly pornographic stuff. And I was like, man, I can see that you're liking this. Like Instagram shows me, do you want me to be your accountability partner? And he blocked me.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh.
And then Instagram realized
that
that
was
was a
a
bad
no.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
A big no. I remember the days when you could see everything people liked on Instagram, and it was pure chaos.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you're right. To your point, like if you're in an argument or whatever, disagreement, and then you get on Instagram or whatever, and it's just feeding into your story.
yeah.
That's not going to help your communication.
No. And I know too, like, we've had to have conversations about like phone use in our bedroom, you know, because like it's my alarm and I am terrible and I make the excuse, it's my alarm. I have to have it. Made that for years.
Yeah.
Even when I was a kid with my dad and he told me, nope, phones go on the counter. I'm like, nope. You know, but like there were times in our marriage, like obviously I've figured out why, but like I would choose to scroll on my phone and my back would be towards Logan to avoid like intimacy because I'm like, I don't want that, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, we've had to have multiple conversations and we both still really suck at it. But, you know, at least we know we're talking about those boundaries around
You're aware
Yeah.
those
of it.
kinds of things. 'Cause,
That's huge.
yeah, I think the biggest motivator is now that we have a kid and it's very eye-opening every time. She's like, Mommy, I watch a movie. And I'm like, no, I don't want you to do that. And I'm like, we need to put our phones down, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did this thing many years ago when our kids were little because we get up in the mornings and we try if we can, you know, have a moment where we drink our coffee, read our Bible, stuff like that. But we were on our phones on like the Bible app. And then we realized, you know, our kids don't know we're reading our Bible.
Yeah.
And selfishly, we're like, we want them to see us reading the Bible. So we
Yeah.
started using our real Bibles. And there's nothing wrong with reading your Bible on your phone. But it was like, we were just doing that to help them see. Because, I mean, we could have been on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have known. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aubrey, as a therapist, we're interested in your opinion here. So there's way more language out there today in the space of therapy and emotional intelligence and all that, which we think is a great thing. But when you think of younger couples today, or even couples that have been married, you know, 6-10 years somewhere, like, are they actually more emotionally aware, or do they just know more of the language?
They just know more of the language.
Okay. Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I can't tell you how many times I hear the word narcissist thrown around. I'm like, they're probably not a diagnosed narcissist.
Right.
It's actually very rare. They're probably just a jackass.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like they just need Jesus. They need to be
Right.
with the button. No, I'm just kidding. Don't beat him with the Bible. That's really wrong. But, you know, like that word is so overused specifically, you know, like, no, maybe he's just got some anger and some selfish issues, or she does, you know, but it's like, I think therapy words are just so thrown around.
I was about to say, what are some other examples of
Like,
words?
I mean, everyone and their dog and their cat is diagnosed with autism because they've diagnosed themselves.
Wow.
Yeah, they took the RADSAR test or whatever, and they're like, I'm, you know,
Yeah, for sure. Or like, I'm trying to think, like everyone is anxious and depressed. And so then they start to use all of those things or any diagnosis as a way to just like, what's the word? Like validate why, or kind of reassurance as to why they act the way they act. So back to that whole, excuse
Okay.
the way that they act. So it's like, well, I'm an avoidant attachment style, so I'm just going to continue avoiding, you know? Or it's like, to me, it's the same with personality tests. Like they're great, they're good tools, but like Logan and I both talked about, like when we worked at the church, like I'm an 8 and a 2. And so like in that, I now looking back, I'm like, oh, I was always told I'm an 8, I'm a challenger. And so I would purposely find ways to live out that because I'm like, well, I'm a challenger. I guess I better live that way.
Yeah.
And then just creates this toxic cycle that you
Yeah.
you get into. And
It also creates agreements
yeah.
that can be used against you if we lived in a spiritual world, for example, and there were enemies who like to use that stuff. Yeah, it creates these. As you were saying that, I was thinking how ironic that is, because if you took that same excuse and put it in the realm of, say, physical abuse, and a husband who's like, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm just I have a small temper, or I just lash out a lot," as if that's
okay.
Okay, I didn't.
But that's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just like a sense of just excusing that bad behavior when it's like, no, we need to stop this.
And even if you know, hey, I do have whatever, that's not an excuse. That's great that you know it, but now you need to do something about it.
Yes.
Two different things.
Yeah.
So,
Awareness is the first step.
yes.
But there are multiple steps after that to get to.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys have any like couples assume their marriage is broken when actually they're just lacking good skills?
Oh yeah.
Like, is that a
Yeah. We think that's us, probably, honestly, about the technology use.
Yeah.
Of like, I think our marriage is super healthy and strong, but when we are on our phones, we're so unintentional with one another that after like a week of doom scrolling in our free time when Tilly was like asleep or whatever, you start to wonder, is our marriage even that good? But it probably is when we put down our phones and have like an intentional conversation with one another more.
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely agree with that. I think,
with the skills? Do you think being a therapist, because you know the skills, do you
Logan,
think that has helped?
Why don't you tell them what you think? Because I thought that was really insightful earlier.
Yeah.
We were looking over your guys' questions to get us brainstorming about this, and one of them was if Aubrey feels more pressure to being a wife and a therapist, but I think I put more pressure on Aubrey because she, like early on when Tilly was born, she's like, hey, I helped watch these 3 nanny boys for so many years that it feels like I helped raise these kids. So like Aubrey always has always had the skill in like being with little kids and stuff. So she's like, when Tilly was born, she's like, oh, I know how to do all this stuff, and I didn't. So she would just talk about, oh, this is what a kid's going through developmentally in their brain, and here's why kids lash out, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know any of this stuff. So it's like I keep looking towards Aubrey for answers. And sometimes it's like I put so much pressure on her to have that answer. Like, oh, so why am I even gonna, why should I even try when you know the right thing to do? Like, I'll just watch you do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, before this, I was like, Aubrey, sometimes you just need to let me fail so I can learn. Like, and then tell me later, that's not the right thing you're going to do, like you should have done.
Right.
But it's good that you tried and failed so you can see that wasn't right, versus going, well, you know the answers, just show me how to do it and I'll do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, do you feel pressure to kind of have answers and whatnot when it comes to your marriage?
Oh, yeah. I think as a therapist, I think there's definitely that like imposter syndrome or whatever. It's like, with Logan's own mental health, and I'll let you speak to that however you want. But like in those seasons, I definitely have noticed, I'm like, I'm a therapist. I work with people who struggle with this all the time. Why can't I figure it out? Like I'm failing as a wife or as a therapist. Like if I can't help my own husband, how the heck am I supposed to help these clients, which I think is just to speak to the different dynamics of, I'm a wife in that moment. I'm not the therapist. That's not my role, really. Yes, there are things I can do that help in that. But yeah, I definitely think there is that pressure. I think too, the pressure for me, at least with the parenting stuff, comes from like working to reparent myself, like I grew up, I'm the oldest of 7. So like, my dad didn't know the Lord when I was born, and he had a lot of anger issues. And so I saw a lot of that sin and that mess in that time. And so I have to like reparent myself, and work through those triggers and all of that. But there's definitely this the 8 in me or whatever is like, well, I'm just going to control it because I want it done the right way. And I don't want to traumatize Matilda. So if you're going to yell, I'm going to tell you, don't do that. But then I yell and I'm like, gosh, I feel like a crappy parent, you know? And it's just like this whole cycle of figuring out and being aware and working through
Because you know in your
all
head,
of that pressure.
everybody knows it
Oh,
up
yeah.
here, but doing it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, how many times do I tell my clients, oh, you just teach your kids how to breathe. And I'm like, I don't breathe. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So how does, because you've said two things, how does being an avoider and also someone who deals with the conflict, how does that work?
Yeah, isn't that weird? So when it comes to like conflict with anybody else other than Logan, I think I do just fine. I think over the years, I think there's just like, we've talked about it, but like the emotional intimacy for me has always been really, really hard with Logan. And I still don't know if I really know like why. I think sometimes it just feels too much. Yeah, I don't know how. That's a great question. I don't.
So when you say emotional intimacy has been difficult, do you mean like recognizing your own emotions or recognizing his or both?
Sometimes I think it's a bit of both, or just like he's a words of affirmation person, and I can speak words of affirmation to clients and people all day, but I can't. I just don't, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like there's this fear that wells up inside of me. That's like this fear of rejection. Oh, if I do that, he's going to think I'm too clingy, even though that's exactly what he wants.
Right.
I'm not going to do that for whatever reason because of whatever I've experienced that I haven't figured out how to get over yet.
Yeah.
Which is I think is a challenge. I think it's just more the vulnerability in that aspect. I can be vulnerable with a friend or a therapist, but I think we've grown over the years.
Yeah, for sure.
But
And that's different types of vulnerability.
yes, it really is.
Like marriage versus talking to a friend.
You have to live with the person the rest of your life. You know, like
They see you naked. Your friend is not.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a different type of vulnerability.
Yes.
I mean, hopefully. They have,
Hopefully your friends don't see you
That's-
naked. That'd be
Hopefully.
weird.
that's a different podcast.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah. So, let's try to set this up. So you guys were at a recent conference that we did, and we talked about that reaction cycle where you figure out what your deepest desires are. Just give me like one example of each of your deepest wants, like kind of.
I don't remember.
yeah.
I should have taken a picture.
One of mine is that we frequently like come back to is like I have this desire to be heard and seen. So sometimes in conflict when I'm telling Aubrey something heartfelt or like I'm struggling with this or that, and her response is like, okay, like she's processing it, but what comes out of her mouth is not like almost like, I need you to say it back to me to know that you heard it. You know, it makes me think she didn't hear me, and that starts that cycle of
Sure.
I'll get angry or I'll just give you the cold shoulder for a little bit or whatever.
Yeah. I think one of mine is it's either hurt or significant. I think it's one of those two.
Kind of like a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting that, like, if your desire, one of your desires is connection, and yet your top reactions are avoidance and even conflict,
Yeah.
and how that actually works against the thing that you want the most.
Yeah.
It's just we call it a cycle of suckery
Yeah.
because it's like the perfect storm.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
really
I
is.
want, Shelley, one of Shelley's is, it's twin blank.
Connection or I went to.
So, yeah, partnership, connection, that kind
Yeah,
of
that
thing.
type of thing.
And yet she avoids and withdraws. It's like that works completely against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be understood and respected
Yep.
and all that, but yet I go to fault finding and lecturing, which
Yep.
which creates disconnection.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once you see it, you're like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
"Oh, dang it.
Literally, the funny thing, it's not really funny because it kind of sucks, but literally, so we get home Sunday after that retreat, and Monday, I kid you not, we were so unkind to each other.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yep.
And then I left to go do something with Tilly, and he texted, and he's like, well, I guess that's the cycle they were talking about.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, That's great.
First hand training.
Thank
awesome.
you. It's like, I don't, whatever.
But
Like,
you know what's cool is that you saw it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can
That's
stop it.
that part.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we've done
yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I think the best part, one of the best things about like gauging some of the healthiness of your marriage is like when you have conflict in the moment, it sucks and it
Right.
probably feels awful.
Mhm.
But like the ability to later look back and laugh on it, it's like, wow, we were so dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I think that I think helps a lot with the repair piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
of all
Because
of
repair
that.
is huge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So big.
With kids, spouses, you have to go back and
Mhm.
do that.
So
work.
you have to do that work.
Mhm.
So we've kind of tiptoed around this, talking about emotional maturity.
Mhm.
Why would you guys say emotional maturity is so crucial in
Mhm.
relationships? Really, any relationship, doesn't matter
Yeah.
age.
Yeah. I don't know. I keep going back to, like, I think people our generation, like everything's catered to, you just get to choose, like mix and match how your life wants to be. Like even with conflict, we talked about how, like, if you write something on Facebook and someone leaves a mean comment, you can just block them, you can unfollow them. And I think we take that mentality and apply it to relationships of like, like divorce is an option. Your spouse ticks you off enough, you can just get divorced, But when I think about my dad, I think that both men and women were forced to have a higher emotional maturity back then because like I mean, my dad talks about how he remembers like the Vietnam War being on TV. Like some people went and had to go serve in a war, and that forced them to be emotionally mature. Like you come back and you've seen things, and I think we've just got such a cushy environment now that it's okay to be kind of like a spiritual baby. Be kind of like, it's not nothing is really that serious. Nothing's that really that big of a deal. You can always back out when you want to. And I think that's the danger. Is like, why is it important? It's like because we're being given this message that you can leave whenever you want. You can change any part of your life that you don't want to do. You can just change it. You can leave it. You can abandon it. And that's not like the gospel. That's
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I feel like that the worldly view of the emotional maturity, that kind of thing, is just so contrary to like what Scripture says and like how we're made in the image of God and we're supposed to resemble His image. And I don't see anywhere in Scripture where it says anything about Him being emotionally immature. And so it's like it comes down to how do I want to be perceived? Like, do you want to look like an immature child all the time when you're 50 years old and you're still whining and complaining because a building looks stupid? I don't know. Just talking about people and their comments on Facebook over the stupidest things. And it's like, I think it matters most because it's like, do you want to have good connection with people? Like biologically, we were created and made to be in connection and community with people. But that is really hard when you can't be emotionally mature because you're behaving in a toxic way where it just destroys all of your relationships. And then it just creates this cycle.
Yeah.
I love talking in cycles.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a great picture because it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does it do to a relationship in each partner to know that, like you said, Logan, leaving is an option. If this gets too hard, I'll leave. Like, what does that do in a relationship knowing that they could, if I say the wrong thing, they could be gone?
From like a therapeutic lens, like there's no felt safety. And so like if there's no felt safety, then one, your nervous system is going to be out of whack. You're not going to trust anything that you think. There's no reality of what safety actually is. You're not going to be vulnerable. Your intimacy, emotional or physical, is going to suck. You're not going to communicate well. Like, if that foundation is not there, then it's like, oh, we're just two people and who gives a crap what we do,
Right.
You're like roommates almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like you're just here to serve me.
Yeah.
Kind of a selfish.
Yeah. I think if Aubrey and I believed that divorce was an option, like for me having high anxiety, I would constantly be nervous of like, oh, I didn't do dishes. I'm so scared. She's like super mad. Like there's no trust. Your foundation is just like paper thin.
Yeah. Which hopefully this is okay to share, but like I know previously in some of our worst conflicts, I think back to like the one where you thought I was calling you a bad dad. Like at some point you were like, well, why don't you just divorce me? And I was like, that's not funny. We're not going to do that, you know? But like, I know looking back, for some reason, I know that's like, I made it up. That's not an option. And I know you know that, but like, that's the anxiety for you in the midst of that conflict when your wounds are hurt or, you know, your insecurities are hit at, that you can resort to that in a very unhealthy way, even if that's not truly what you want.
Yeah.
I've heard it said this way, and I can't remember who said it, so I'll claim it. Like I always say, as long as divorce is an option, someone will use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And that is so dangerous, like you said.
Yeah. I think it's only happened twice in our marriage.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to throw you under the
you're
bus
good.
there.
Listen, we've all said things
Yeah.
we wish
I
we
just
didn't.
was thinking about what you said about the paper thin foundation, people who aren't believers, how much anxiety
Yeah.
and like that would cause to know I could not do the dishes, or I could forget something, or what's the final thing that I'm going to do that they're just going to leave.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. It's horrifying
Yeah.
to think of that. It's like, I often think that too. Sometimes when I work with like non-believers in therapy, I'm like, it's so hard to do therapy with people who don't believe, because where is their hope? You know? And I think that's the same for couples, you know? I have many people in my life who I know who have gotten divorced or walking through divorces, and their marriage isn't built on the foundation of the Lord. And it's like, I can't speak to any hope for you other than what I believe and what I hope you will come to know. But it's like, I don't know how to counsel you.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Well, along those lines, here's something we deal with often. So we're pastoral counselors. I have degrees in theology and pastoral counseling. Shelley has training in biblical counseling. But we're not clinical therapists, right? And so what would you say where's the line where you would recommend someone go from maybe pastoral counseling to clinical help, therapy, whatever?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm a big believer in like check-in points, so I'll start there. So like first year of marriage, go to marriage counseling, not because anything's maybe wrong, but just to check in.
Right.
Have someone that has no perspective of you at all come in with these open eyes, because we have rose-colored glasses on, and just kind of assess those things just to see the healthiness of it. And then go to 5 years. And then at 10 years, go again. You know, it doesn't have to go to therapy when things are bad. But I would say, you know, like, okay, if we're struggling to communicate with each other, like, sure, yeah, we could have gone to our pastor and said, hey, help us with this to some degree. Because I think that, you know, pastoral counselors can do a lot. I think when it gets to the point of like, there is so much trauma that is involved and each person needs to be working on their own stuff, that to me would be a good indicator, especially when, like, you know, if you ever felt like, I don't have a clue how to help you in this, that's a good indicator. Probably need to go see someone else. I think if it's, you know, if we're talking to the listener, I would say if there's any sort of heavy trauma that you personally haven't dealt with, like I would always encourage go get therapy just to work through that so that you individually can be the best you can be.
Right.
You know, I think
Yeah.
individual therapy, while maybe even still meeting with you guys as pastoral counselors, you know, like if I wasn't a clinical therapist, I'd probably still have a clinical degree, but I would be working in a church somewhere.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can blur a little bit.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, because even if you work on your marriage and yet you're both falling apart, like it's only going to be as strong as you are individually, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, we've talked with couples, and I'm just like, okay, time out. We can talk about communication skills and all the different things, but you have some large amounts of undealt childhood trauma that you need to work through before we can work on the marriage.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I always say, especially with marriage counseling, like all of my couples that I see, I kind of create this ground rule of like, okay, husband, wife, you each need your own individual counselor, because there's so much I'm not going to be able to help the two of you with.
In
Like
1 hour.
Yeah, in 1 hour,
Right.
1 week or every other week. I'm like, no, you know, so it's like, if I'm going to be your therapist, you're going to be in your own individual therapy as well. And you're going to sign releases for me to talk to those people
Yeah.
so that I know and your therapist know we can all be on the same page, repeating the same things so that you have a good support system around you to keep you accountable in those things. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times do you find people are just honest with you and just say, you know what? That's too much work.
I've
Like-
had that. I think I've had that once or twice.
Yeah. Like we want a great marriage. We just don't want to work at it.
That just seems like a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have worked with couples who are not faith based, and that's really challenging. But yeah, it's the same story every week. And I just have to, I'm like, I reiterate, I'm like, you guys are just paying me to sit here and listen to the same thing over and over because you're not doing any of the stuff at home, right?
That's crazy.
They're like, oh, yeah, it's just too hard. And I'm like, well, you're going to be miserable and stay stuck in the mess that you're in. So
Well,
you
here's
want to keep paying me?
Here's
Fine.
what I've said, like, choose your hard.
Yes.
Marriage
We
is
say
hard.
that all the time.
Being married is hard. What do you want to do? Like, all of it's hard. So
Yeah.
being healthy, unhealthy, whatever.
All of it is.
All of it's hard.
Yes.
So, okay. So how do you guys stay connected? So what, like some rhythms that you guys stay in your relationship to kind of just stay connected, stay healthy? I think daily, monthly.
We try to do at least 2 date nights a month. Like we would love every Friday to be like a date night for
Yeah.
us, but sometimes you just can't find a babysitter.
And it's
That's like-
expensive.
Yeah. And just being aware of like being on your phone and how bad that is.
Yeah.
Like we try our hardest to stop watching, like just stop watching Netflix for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Instead, have a conversation with each other.
Yeah. I really like playing games. Logan does not really like playing like card games.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
I need other people. I
He
need
does.
Oh, there you go.
I need another couple to play card games with. So it's
yeah,
not
I think
just me and
recently I
Aubrey.
was like, can you play a card game with me? And he's like, oh, yes, I can. And I was like, wow, you could have just said,
Yeah.
yeah, dear, I'd love to play
Yeah.
with you. And I'm like, you butthead. But
That's a
then,
good rhythm.
sometimes that, or I mean, we used to play a video game together,
Yeah.
and that was fun. We have quite a bit of time after Tilly goes to bed.
Yeah.
We need to be better at that. But I think one thing we've gotten better at is like you were talking about earlier, dreaming together. Like,
Yeah.
what do we want to do? So we have we made like little bingo cards for the year of what we want to
That's
like
cool.
do this year. I
That's
didn't actually
awesome.
finish
Yeah.
mine. He finished his, but I like drew in mine. He just
Yeah.
wrote things. So it's like, whatever. It's not a competition, but you know,
Yeah.
Oh, you finished making it.
Yeah.
I was about to say, wow, man, you
No.
already.
I don't even think
no,
I
he
have
did
didn't.
it.
He
crossed
hasn't.
off.
He hasn't crossed anything
Yeah.
off.
Okay,
No,
gotcha.
but yeah. And I think some of that, like the dreaming pieces and those kinds of things, like that's been bigger to us, I think, since the last couple of years of our marriage has been filled with a lot of loss of loved ones in a lot of really difficult ways. And so even though those have been hard, I'm thankful in those seasons. It's kind of produced this motivation or this whatever to be more intentional with our time in all of that.
And it's kind of difficult sometimes to plan so long term when life feels so not long term sometimes.
Yeah. I think we've been going to that marriage retreat for at least the last 3 years. That's always been a good
It's been
check-in.
great. Yeah.
Especially the times you guys specifically force us to talk about our feelings. Even though I'm a therapist and I love talking about feelings, I don't like talking about my feelings.
That's good.
But it's great. It's a good. It's yeah.
On that dreaming piece, we talked earlier about, like, at least for me, I'm very goal oriented. So, like, I remember going through high school and my mom always saying, you got to get your high school diploma, Then it's, okay, well, then you can go off to college or go get a job. Okay, I went to college, got my degree. And it's like, okay, maybe you can get married. Got married. Maybe you can have kids. Had a kid. Then you reach this point, it's like, okay, what's next?
Right.
And then there's this risk of if you don't dream together, your kids are going to grow up, move out, and then you're going to be married to this total stranger.
Yes.
And it's like, that sounds horrible to have to,
Right.
like, not just redate your spouse when
Yeah.
you're empty nesters, but relearn who your spouse is, but in a bad way.
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
a total stranger,
Right.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it's almost like a chore. It's not an adventure anymore. It's like, I
Yeah.
have to, or else
Yeah.
maybe we do get divorced or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. And I think we have a good amount of married friends in our age
Yeah.
to some degree that, we could sit down with them and say, hey, ask us these hard questions kind of a thing. that could hold us accountable. I think having those kinds of friendships or people in your life is really healthy. I mean, I have people in my own life, older women that I know I could go to. I'm like, hey, I'm feeling this way. Am I just being a jerk? Or how can you help me?
Yeah.
Like, be kind in this, or
That's huge.
I'm really struggling with this.
Yeah.
How do I love Logan when he's just ticking me off right now? Maybe not sharing all the details of the disagreement, but that I think is important for us in our connection, even though it's an outside kind of a.
I mean, yeah, that's a good
thing.
rhythm just to have a group of friends or like an older couple to sit down with who can kind of lead you through their experience of, hey, we've been through that. Here's how we went through it healthily,
Right.
Yeah.
But even like the topic of like, when do you go see a counselor? Having those friends to speak into your marriage is also helpful to go, no, guys, that's really bad. You should probably go talk to a
It's
professional.
not good.
Yeah,
That's not normal.
It's really
Yes.
unhealthy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that early on. We just sort of downplayed a lot of issues that we shouldn't have downplayed because we were so in love, and it was
The
gonna,
rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
things are great. We're always going to be together. We're always going to love each other like puppies, And so we didn't deal with a lot of stuff until
Yeah.
like year 10, 12, 15. And it was like, oh crap. We should have dealt with this before because this is hard,
Yeah.
And I think that's why, to your guys' point, that's why so many couples, I mean, we've seen over and over again, they divorce at like year 20, 22,
Yeah.
because that's when the kids leave.
Yeah.
Right.
And all of a sudden they're staring at each other and they're like, who are you?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know how to talk to one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not doing check-ins, like it makes me think about how when Tilly was born it was really hard on Aubrey. So like Aubrey before then was one person, then we had Tilly, and Aubrey was a completely different person after that. And I think of when my best friend Cole got cancer and died. Before that, I was one person, and after that, I was a completely different person.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're not doing check-ins, eventually your spouse is going to change to a totally different person,
Right.
and it's just going to hit you like, oh, this is not my wife from year one anymore.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
right.
you don't want to
Yeah.
get lost in that, then have to go, when did this change? When did you start believing this or whatever?
Yeah.
And that just increases that divide between you two.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so good.
Yeah.
If anybody's taking notes, write that down because that was really good. Shelly asked earlier about social media. Logan, I think I know where you stand on this topic because I did listen to the Hot Take podcast. But for you, social media has always been a part of your relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
us, it hasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of came in, halfway through or so. How do you think that difference shapes relationships? We've talked about this a little bit already, but I'm just talking about your
Okay.
relationship. Yeah.
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 I think for me, like Aubrey had mentioned before, of like your phone's always listening. And I've noticed you can find any person on the internet making any kind of content that will validate any emotion, any thought you have, even if it's something super small to something huge of like, who you should vote for, what your gender should be, whatever. You can find people that can take scripture and twist that and validate your emotions, or on a secular level can tell you, here's statistics about why this is a good idea. And I think that is the worst thing of, if you're on your phone a lot, if you're on social media a lot, you have to be really careful that you're not placing more weight into what some random person on the internet tells you over your spouse or even like your pastor or friends,
Yeah.
Or AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Yeah. I think too, we were talking about like just technology or phones in general. Like, I think a lot of people our age would probably be like, well, that's stupid. You do that because you don't trust your spouse. But like,
Yeah.
like he knows all the passwords to my phone.
Yeah.
And I know all the passwords to his stuff, so it's like, I know at any point I could go look at that. But then it's like, okay, I need to stop for a minute. Why do I feel like I need to go look at his phone? He hasn't done anything to prove that he's been unfaithful or anything like that. What's going on in my head to make me think I need to go look at that? Oh, well, I've been watching these videos of people cheating all the time. And I'm like, why am I watching that crap?
Yeah.
But then it's a good, I think, thing to be able to be aware of that so that you can kind of have those checkpoints in the midst of that. I mean, social media wise, like there's a girl we kind of mentor a little bit together, and she was sending him funny reels, really stupid reels by herself. And then, I had to put us all in a little group chat of like, hey, please don't send anything directly to him. Just use this group chat. That's just kind of a boundary we have type of a thing. Just trying to be aware of some of those things. I know like there have been times where you're like, hey, this, watching a movie or something technology wise, like I didn't think this movie was going to be bad. So if you see it on here, I'm really sorry for watching it. There's just, I feel like there's social media that's a really big one. I feel like we're good at communicating. I think part of that comes from before we got married, both of us struggled with pornography. And so like that has always been a like, nope, we're going to be really diligent on that. And so far it's
stay open and honest.
Been a really good, What was your acronym? Hot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Good job.
I use that in therapy, actually, and your reactive cycles. I just put it in our like folder thing.
Hey, that's smart.
Don't worry, we stole it from somebody.
I love that.
Everything,
Sure, so.
everything. Yeah.
Well, do you guys ever feel pressure on social media to present your relationship better than what it might be sometimes?
I don't know if we've had pressure to make it look better. I think I've learned that you can become, or your marriage online can become a stumbling block for other people to envy. And I think I personally just have been more mindful of that, of like.
Explain that.
So like there's kind of like this stereotype or like joke online that couples who get photos taken together all the time are doing really bad. And so they need family photos to show how happy they are.
The reassurance,
So there was, we oddly enough have been lucky enough to get family photos pretty frequently. So like I always think of this joke of like, hope people don't think our marriage is a mess because we're always doing stuff together. But I know other people have been like, yeah, my marriage is a mess. But I know looking online, all these other marriages are going really well. And I don't know if that's true for these other people, but for me, I was like, social media is so fake that I don't want to just post all my highlights and get people to think like, oh, your marriage isn't like this, so yours must suck.
Right.
So it's like I felt personally convicted to like tone it down, like just be. Also helps me be more intentional directly to Aubrey versus going, I'll tell Aubrey how I feel online so she can read it. It's like I could just tell her to her face and get off my phone. And that's just a personal conviction for me.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of people who are like, on the flip side, it's like, oh, he doesn't post about you.
Right.
Oh, he doesn't care about you, kind of a thing. That's like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Like, I would rather have you say something to my face than post it like, I might get those little butterflies of, he just called me hot on social media in front of everybody, but it's like the actual face-to-face connection does a lot more for the drops of dopamine and all the chemicals in your brain anyway, but like, and the connection too. But
I think of like times that we have friends who update their Facebook profile picture and it's just them. And we know that they have a spouse and children. And we're like, why didn't you post the rest of your like you're wired to think that something bad is happening. It's so bad.
We've been working on a upcoming podcast episode and we're calling it like social media red flags.
Yes.
Like when you see these things, here's what it might mean.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
I love that. Literally, okay, but like, 9 times out of 10, I'll see that and I'm like, something's going on there. And I'm right most of the time. And I'm like, what? No, I didn't want to be right,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. So true. So true.
We've been talking about this, but the social media, I think you maybe kind of answered this, but I think it is harder for couples in general just to have social media and to connect in their relationship. But I don't know. I just think,
and I think it's even like I remember when I think it was Facebook when it first few years it was out. The prompt was always like, "How are you feeling?"
Yes, it's crazy. Yeah,
Which,
I was
if
like
think
12.
about it, Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Which even like, what if that were still the case? It almost forces you to not simply post all the highlights. It's almost asking you, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling great today because you don't have to go into detail, but it's like, no, I'm not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like it was easier to be more authentic when social media started versus it is now.
What's funny because I always every day I get on it just Facebook just to see what my memories are.
Yes, I was just thinking
that's
that.
really cool. and they're from like 16 years ago, 17 years ago. And it is that. It's like,
Yeah.
how are you feeling? Great.
Yeah.
Kids were crazy. Like these little short
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Is feeling annoyed.
It's
It's feeling Aubrey Marino is
Because you
feeling
could-
annoyed.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but you could not post pictures, right?
You could.
you?
You
On
could.
Facebook?
Yeah, we
Facebook?
could post
Yeah.
pictures.
Could we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I thought
wasn't,
it was just like
wasn't
more-
like a slate table and an abacus.
That's all it is.
I thought it was just like,
Goodness, Grandma.
Oh man, that's
you really
hilarious.
could, but we didn't have phones that you could.
You had to get online to post them.
I think
Yeah.
you had to get
Yeah.
on a
On
computer. You
desktop,
couldn't do it on
yes.
your phone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank
They
you.
didn't really have smartphones then.
Our
Yes.
our
Yeah.
our,
But I had a
much.
BlackBerry.
our
I did
razors
too.
our razors
Our
would
razors.
let
Yeah.
us do
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yup.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Mm.
Okay.
So, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there are some generational differences, obviously, between younger couples and older couples, and we don't think that's a negative thing. And the way we would describe that is because we ourselves are just different people today than we were when
Yeah.
we first got married. Shelley was 20, I was 21. We look back at those that we were just like, oh my gosh, we were so.
Yeah.
In some ways, we're the same, and in other ways, it's like, oh my gosh, we were so much different. And so
Yeah.
there's just those natural differences. Things that we didn't understand about long-term marriages when we were younger. So when you think, well, what do you think younger couples don't understand about long-term marriage today?
That's a good question.
Mhm.
I think, like, when I think it would be like more my grandparents, so to say, like their marriage. Like, people were getting shipped out and deployed and those kinds of things. So they kind of married quickly, you know, and navigated marriage very differently. And I think the roles of marriage were pretty traditional, maybe to the extreme. The wife stays home and cooks and cleans, blah, 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 blah. And then you kind of gradually start to change some of those things. And so, like, for us at least, like, we kind of have a role reversal. So I'm the one who leaves and is the breadwinner, and he's the one who stays home and works from home and watches Tilly. And so naturally, that's way different
Right.
than what my grandparents would have experienced, or maybe even you guys. I think your generation was probably more appropriate for, I think it was starting like both men and women were going to work. Was that kind of more?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So as it's like shifted and stuff, I think it's like, you know, you have all the, well, feminism and women should blah, 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 and all of that. But then I also think it's interesting because I think a lot more faith-based couples, I see a lot of them are like, I want to go back to homesteading kind of
Yeah.
a thing. So it's really
That's how our kids are.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really interesting to see that dynamic because I'm like, I kind of want to go to homesteading, but I don't really want to live on a farm type of a thing. You know, I
Right.
want to take some of the aspects of it, but still, you know, so
You want sourdough, but not goats.
yes.
Yes.
I cannot do sourdough, so I have a friend who makes it and I buy it from her and she's
That's
great.
awesome.
I can
Yeah.
make homemade coffee syrups. Great, whatever, we just trade, you know? But like
That's awesome.
some of those things, I think, yeah. But that's not even what your question really was. Sorry, just went on a tangent there. Like, I don't even remember what it was. So
Well, when you look at those couples who've been married,
Yeah.
as you would say, a long time,
yeah.
what stands out to you guys?
I think of my grandparents, like they've been through hell and back in a lot of different ways. And they're still married. They're like 70s now. But one, I think it's truly because of Jesus that they have stayed together. And just their commitment first to Jesus, then to their spouses in that, no matter what is happening. But I think in younger couples, even in faith-based couples too, I've seen like just like that idea earlier of like, well, I'm only going to do this as long as it serves me. So like long term, as long as it serves me long term, okay, great, I'll stay in it long term, kind of a thing. But I think people also just the idea of like, this is my best friend. I get to live with this person forever. Sometimes I think that is missing.
You're on the same team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the flip side, what do you think older generations misunderstand about couples your age?
We're just trying to survive.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Help us out.
Oh my gosh. I think for me at least, is that just like because of social media, how easy it is to compare myself to other people. You know, it's like my grandparents raised their kids in the middle of the war, you know, those kinds of things. I'm like, wow, my issues are not
Right.
not compared to that. But so like the comparison game, that I think is so hard, which I think as social media you get involved in, you realize that in different stages. But I think especially marriage and coming out of like, for us, purity culture, that was rough. Like I'm sure you guys were in the thick of that when that was going on. So I think you understand. Yeah. But it is very interesting just navigating the shame of some of those things. It's that pressure of, you know, don't have sex before marriage. Don't even think about it. Don't do this. Don't do that. And it's like, okay, we get married. You can have sex now. What the frick do we do?
Yeah, right.
Like, we don't know what, you know, it's such a shameful thing. It's like, we don't know how to do that. And I don't think you guys you were taught how to do that either. So it's like not a fair thing to even like, you know, it's like,
don't do it. Don't think about it.
Yeah. Don't ask questions.
And then all of a sudden be an expert in it.
Yes. It's like, what? Yeah. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Right.
I think people in our generation are really questioning just everything they've ever been told. And I think older people sometimes think what they hear is us saying, no, that's stupid. But we're genuinely just asking, like, is this the right way to do it? Like, I think of spanking your kids versus not spanking, like some of that stuff. Some people are really like firm on I spank my kids. Some people are like, I don't ever want to lay a hand on my kid. And it's not like one way is better than the other, but it's just, I think people in our generation really want to be sure that that's what they actually believe and what they actually think is right.
They don't want to take it blanketly.
And I think older generations might have just been handed something and they just ran with it more of oh, well, my dad told me this, so you don't disobey your dad or you don't question your dad, so I just did it. It's like, I think we have the opportunity to question. And it's not as insulting to go, well, thanks for that, Dad, but I'm going to see if I actually want to do that or not, you know?
Yeah. It's not a hit on their character or their fatherhood or parenthood or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. So what do you think younger couples could learn from the older couples if they were willing to listen?
Everything.
So much. I think there is a lot of wisdom in just even if the only thing you learn is why your parent, like sitting and thinking with your parents. So like if I sat down and asked my dad, why did you discipline the way you did? And all I got to learn was more about who my dad is and his character and what made him today. Like, to me, that's a win. I think just even sitting and listening is one of the greatest gifts you can have or receive or whatever. Is like, because you get to build that connection and things. But it's like, I would sit and listen to my dad all day, even if I disagree with him. And I do disagree with him on lots of things, you know. But it's like, I think in the midst of listening to some of those things, it helps either solidify why I'm not going to do that or helps me think differently of like, okay, maybe I will take some of that, you know, or like throwing a fit because my dad made me put my phone on the counter. I'm like, why would you make me do that? And he's like, well, let me tell you why, because you didn't want to listen then. And I'm like, no, 100% I'm going to do that. You know, like you're in a different stage from when you were a kid in their home to an adult now. And there was a lot of to see, like, why did you make that decision? Or like, well, I don't actually know why I did.
My guess would be, since you were the first of 7.
I was the guinea pig.
Sorry about that.
He was probably doing the best he could, and he probably would do things differently.
And you said he wasn't a believer too, right?
Until I was like 5 or 6. Yeah.
That's huge.
We've had to apologize to our oldest often.
Yes. Anytime they come to us, we're sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry we messed up.
Because we parent very, very differently from our first to our last.
Sure.
There's a 6-year gap between there's 4, but between the first and the last one.
Yeah.
And
even in
they
the
have
6
different
short
parents.
years.
Yes, they do.
They have very different parents.
Yeah. Logan often, like, because when we got engaged, my parents were pretty ticked off for a few days, didn't want to talk to us. Like, there were really hard conversations we had. And then, like, a couple years later, one of my other sisters got engaged on Christmas, and they weren't believers and aren't, you know, and those kinds of things. And I remember bawling all the way home because I'm like, what? You were excited for them and you're not excited for us? And Logan was like, Aubrey, maybe we should take that as like answered to prayer, because we prayed that he would grow and learn how to be different and those kinds of things. So like, that's kind of always sticks with me when it comes to that. Because I'm like, well, my youngest sister definitely does not have the same parents that I have, because she got away with everything.
We're tired, okay?
Yeah.
That's
Well, we like to give our listeners a summit challenge. That's what we call every episode. And if you're still listening to this,
Yeah.
thank you so much. It's been great, but it's also been long and it's great.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah,
Who
right.
cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's our summit challenge. What is one habit that has strengthened your marriage the most? What's one thing that you do that you're like, we love doing that and we're going to keep doing that?
It's a good question.
I think setting aside time to turn off your TV, put your phone down, and just like sit across from each other, look each other in the eyes, and have a genuine conversation and do a check-in. Whether
Yeah.
that's like on a date night, out at dinner, or just, you know, in your living room, whatever. Those moments are so good, so growing, and so encouraging for each other if you just focus and
Yeah.
treat it very intentionally and serious.
Yeah. I think too, some of the like easy ways to do that is just the simple questions. I don't know if we learned it from you or I just stole it from somebody else, but it's like this week a marriage check-in of like, how have I loved you well this week? What's
Oh,
one way
yeah.
I can grow? Did we learn that from you?
Oh, yeah, of
We've
course
said-
you learned that.
Probably,
from
yeah.
us.
No.
We've said that.
Oh, great. Yeah. Like, I mean, we don't do those specific questions as maybe frequently as I wish we probably would. But I think just that intentionality of being able to do that, those check-ins,
Yeah.
I think are,
And after you get through that, dream together about what the next like season of your life could look like. And that helps give you some direction and some ways that you feel
Exciting.
encouraged to be together
Yeah.
as a team.
Yeah.
So here's a question. What is one thing couples in their 20s, so it's a little bit younger than you guys, can start doing now that will matter in 20 years?
you said one earlier and I can't remember what it was, but it was good.
It was just dreaming was the first
Oh,
one like that.
it was
That's
that
just a good
one.
rhythm to have.
Yeah.
It is a good one.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, if they're dating or they're engaged or even married, doing dates with other couples,
Okay.
being in community with other
Yeah.
couples that are
Yeah.
older than you, even if they're or similar age, like just that I think is really helpful just because it just keeps things in
Like
check.
for more accountability type of thing?
Yeah, or
Or
just normal friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just grow that community because like we have some friends who, you know, like they got married and they moved and then they kind of isolate out
Right.
in the country or whatever. And it's like, okay, we need to be intentional about still staying in that community after life changes. But yeah.
So is there any, you kind of mentioned this, but people who are preparing for marriage today, they're dating, wanting to get engaged, any advice?
Yeah. Jesus first, then your
Yeah.
spouse,
Yes,
then
amen.
then your kids, then your parents. No, that for sure. But I think one, as a mental health therapist, I would say like make sure you're comfortable with like the uncomfortable. Like have that a regular rhythm of being uncomfortable with or being comfortable with getting uncomfortable. You're going to have really uncomfortable conversations, but if you can learn how to be okay in the uncomfortable, you're going to go a lot farther, I think, especially when it comes to conflict and those kinds of things. Because it's,
Yeah.
you'll be more aware of your own.
Yeah.
Learn
Internal
to do the hard
dialogue.
thing.
Yeah.
My dad like get comfortable with racing to the bottom and start like finding little ways to learn how to get comfortable serving other people.
Yeah.
Because when you get married, there's gonna be so many opportunities where you're gonna have to either serve your spouse well or put up your ego and say, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do that.
So
And
die
it's-
to yourself
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
you guys put it the first time we met you was racing to the bottom to serve
Yeah.
one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we
That's
say that
submission,
all
too.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
It is a
for
race.
the man to have that at the forefront of your brain all the time as much as you can is so helpful.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're called to as a Christian man is to put your wife first, put Jesus first, you know?
Yeah.
And it's hard,
It is hard.
but it's worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, we've asked you guys a lot of questions.
We have.
Any questions for us?
What like for you who are obviously different age, different generation with us, like in working with couples, I'd assume you work with couples that are younger. What do you think has been the biggest struggle for couples our age or common?
The thing that I've seen a couple of times is we talked about this earlier. They know the language, and they think because they know the language that
They're fine.
they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, but do you see how you are being selfish? Do you see? And it's like, well, that's because I was raised like that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, but that's just an excuse.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I agree.
Okay.
I would also add,
An ad, please.
I would also add that what we've seen a lot is younger couples look at older couples who are either still married or have a great relationship, and they just assume that they got lucky.
Right.
They married the right one. They're compatible in all the ways.
They didn't struggle.
It was
at all.
easy for them.
Sure.
And it's like they have no idea that couple is the way they are because they went through hell and back.
Yeah.
And they just and don't even get me started on the whole right one thing. That's a whole nother podcast. But they think, oh, I married the wrong one, and ours is never going to be good.
Yeah.
Because it's just not. And they just think that we've had people look at us, and it's the way they say things. It's like, you guys are so lucky, and it's just like a timeout, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just list off some of the
The crap.
Yeah.
Which we try to do, like in our when we do marriage conferences. Like, we're not coming at this with,
Oh yeah.
here are all the things we've dealt with.
Yeah. I was like, you did that at the most recent one we were just at. Yeah.
Yeah.
So helpful, by the way. I think that is like marriage conferences. If that's the only thing you keep doing is keep sharing the hardship of like, this is what we've been through. This is us choosing the hard because we love each other and we're serving each other. And ultimately it's because God is first. Like that, I think has always been the biggest encouragement is like in our moments when we feel like this sucks, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, okay, well they went through it too. So if they can do it, we can do it kind of a thing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's huge.
Well, anybody have anything else
No.
want to add?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here,
for
guys.
being here.
We're so proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Go check out Probably Bad Advice podcast.
I love the name.
Thank you.
And it's fantastic. And,
That's good.
Yeah, until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Welcome to the Base Channel. From Genesis to Revelation, His love is the guide. Every vow, every moment, we lay down our pride. His mercy's the melody, our heart's the refrain. Through sunshine and shadow, our love will remain. This holy matrimony, love wrapped in grace. Honesty the cornerstone, openness embrace. Transparency's the power to make it through. Christ in the center, making all things new.